Greetings to all you lovely people who are watching me right now. I'm here to remind you that we have a provider. Sometimes we forget that we have a provider and rely on our talent, on our skills, on our own strengths, but fail miserably at the end. But I want to remind you, don't worry, we have a provider. Throughout the Bible, God was and is the provider. From the Old Testaments to the New Testament, God has provided every single need of every single person ever mentioned in the Bible. And there was this name given to him. He was called Jehovah Jireh. Jehovah Jireh is a term that signifies or that emphasizes that God is the provider. Many of you might be familiar with this hymn. It goes like, My God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. He will give his angels charge over me. Jehovah Jireh cares for me, for me, for me. A particular hymn is a very old hymn, and the scripture that's been used in that particular hymn is Philippians 4:19. That's where Paul, in the letter to Philippians, tells that my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. It is not said the needs shall be supplied with the riches and glory that we have, but it is said through the riches and glory of God. Can we ever imagine, can we as humans fathom the amount of wealth, the amount of richness, the amount of glory that God possesses? We cannot. All we can do is be assured of the fact that God is there to provide every single need of ours. The name came from the Old Testament where Abraham was asked to sacrifice his only son, Isaac. And when he reached the mountain to make the sacrifice, even though he was sad, he was depressed, he knew that it was his only son that he's going to sacrifice, but he still was obedient to God. And his obedience, his faithfulness to God, made God change his mind. And he, on the mountain, provided a ram. And that's when Abraham named that place Jehovah Jireh. And Abraham sacrificed that lamb instead of Isaac. There are many more instances in the Bible where God has acted as a strong provider. When you look at Elijah, Elijah had to leave his native land. He had to go hiding. And God sent bread to Elijah through the ravens. Again, Elijah was hungry. When the brook dried up, when there was when there was no rain in the land, he was ordered to go to a city and ask a widow, and the widow will provide the food. This particular story is very, very interesting. Some of you might not have heard the story. Let me brief you on that story. This lady was at the gates to collect wood to prepare food for herself and her son. They were going to prepare their last meal and they were planning to die. Just because there was no food nor water in the land. That's when Elijah comes into the scene. He asks her a piece of bread and a jug of water. The lady explains her situation to Elijah. Even on top of that, Elijah insisted that she make him a piece of bread and bring him a jug of water. And in return, neither will she run out of flour, nor will she run out of oil. That was the condition Elijah told her. She obeyed Elijah and went to do the same. She prepared a small piece of bread and brought him water. Surprisingly, until the day rain came to the land, she had food, sufficient food. There, God acted as a provider for her, for Elijah. This same God is ready to provide for you, for all your needs, be it physical needs, be it mental needs, be it financial needs. Do not rely on your strength. for you may grow weak. Do not rely on your talent, for you may lose it, but rely on God. Trust Him, for He is your provider. Are you behind on your bills? Do you have that mortgage to pay off? Are you suffering from some kind of illness? I don't know what you're going through, but God knows, and He will provide all the things that are necessary for your life.